Hi guys, we are getting ready to come on. Welcome, welcome to the show. Let's get my camera up here. See, it's getting dark outside. It's early. I love daylight saving times, but it's gotta go. It's gotta go. Holidays are coming up. Thanksgiving, lots to be thankful for. Let me take my headband off and let's get my ponytail holder off. Fluff, fluff, fluff. As we're waiting for just to go on air. I'm just gonna fluff, fluff, fluff. And you know what? I'm just gonna go on and put this on because it's just easier before I get my hair too big. There we are. That looks really funny. Okay, guys. As we fluff and get ready for the show. You guys are loading up already. My goodness, I can't seem to. Now, okay, there we go. Fluff, and basically what I'm doing, you see I have my head set on. Welcome everyone as you tune in. I have my headset on, and I'm just kind of fluffing my fro out. And I'm going to bring it forward. And this is probably the same way I wear it every Sunday. But it's just so much easier. Are not necessarily those of the staff and management of iHeartMedia. Okay. Okay, the opening is coming on. Okay, good. You guys can hear it. I'm going to take this off and get the front right. Hi, babies out there. You can turn it up. Yeah, I want them to hear it. Yeah, because I try to get you guys. There we go. I wish I could hear it, Mark, while I was on the air. Like when people are not calling in, it's not possible for my cyber family to hear it. No. It's like they're listening now. Hello, hello, everyone. Happy Sunday to you. Hi, I'm trichologist Lisa Ackberry. You're here, doctor. I'm here. And for the next 60 minutes, we're going to talk about hair. I'm excited about today's show. Wow, it has been a crazy week. Woo, Lordy. But you know what? God is in control. I promised myself I wasn't going to talk a lot about the you-know-what that just happened on the you-know-when day. But I got to say it. The election. Wow. I said it. It was something. 2016 election, so I'm dating this video. But, we all got to just know that God is in control. And I am so thankful to be here. I'm so thankful to have my job. I'm thankful to have my family, first and foremost. I'm thankful just to be able to, like my grandmother, my mom used to say, get up in the morning and clothe in my right mind. Y'all remember that? That's kind of old school, but it is so true. And be able to get out and walk and see the sunshine and just be, So I'm excited about it today because you guys are out here. I mean, the millennials, I did post something, but I took it back down. My daughter, I read a post that she wrote. She's a millennial. She's in med school. One of my daughters. I have twin daughters, you guys know. And she talked about the election. So it's on my Facebook page. It's still on there, but I took it down off of YouTube. I know you guys want to talk about hair. You're not trying to talk about elections and politics and all of that stuff. You want to talk about hair. So today we're going to talk about hair. You know what? Last week was so great. It was detangling. I got tons of videos about detangling. I always get lots of videos about detangling. And last week, people are just trying to get it together with the detangling. So we talked about that. We had a great show. Lots of calls, lots of questions, mostly lots of chats. Let me make sure I got you guys up on my chat. Welcome out there. If you're just tuning in for the very first time, I'm trichologist Lisa Ackberry. And like I said, for the next 60 minutes, I'm going to be your hair doctor. And we're going to talk about split ends. Yay! Because so many people are told, so many or told that they should trim their ends. So we're going to get our phone lines open at 901-535-9342. That's 901-535-9342. And we're going to talk about split ends today. I'm going to get my chat room opened up so that we can just, take a look and see what's going on. Let's see. Let me go back and see what you guys are talking about. Split ends, that's a pretty big deal because so many people believe that if they don't trim their ends, their hair is just gonna break and it's gonna stop growing and it's gonna do all these crazy things, but not necessarily. So today I'm gonna kind of clear up a lot of the myths about trimming hair and whether or not you should trim your hair. And if you don't trim your hair, what's going to happen? And if you choose not to trim your hair, then what do you do? Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to get the chat room open so that you can
trim your hair. What's going to happen?
Let's get that. There we go. All right, it said, good evening. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you. That's Karen. Thank you, Karen. It's, hi, your hair is really healthy. Thank you. It's getting really big. Oh, I'm so glad that you mentioned that my hair was healthy. It made me think about how big it's getting. But I want to say this. I'm doing a cyber get the length. I'm so excited about it. I can't hardly get the words out. It's going to be a cyber get the length. It's going to be on ground and on cyberspace because I have so many people across the world, around the world, who tune into my show and who ask me questions and things like that. So I'm going to do this cyber get the length program, and we're going to do it together. So some folks have already signed up, but if you guys want to, I want to get something on my website. My web designer, I'm going to have her put something on so you can sign up straight from my website. But you can email me, tell me that, hey, I want to join the Cyber Get the Length program. This is for folks who feel like their hair has grown to a certain length and stop. Whether it's like my hair is at my shoulders, or my hair is at my chin, my hair is, if it's down my back, but I want it longer. The hair can grow about 24 inches on average, just on average, before the hair just starts to shed away and you get a new hair. So we should have at least 24 inches. So that's what we're going for. If you don't have the 24 inches of hair, we're going to have that 24 inches of hair, and we're going to take it's going to take us a couple of years or so, but we're going to get there. But we're going to start with getting at least minimum 6 inches of hair in the next 12 months from January. And we may get maximum 12 inches of hair, but within 2 years we're going to have 24 inches of hair. All right, so I have a question already. It said hello. Okay, it said, do sulfate shampoos cause split ends, and do relaxers cause split ends? The ends is splitting faster. These the guys are hitting the road quickly, aren't you? Hitting the ground running. Well, we're talking about split ends today. We already have a question. Sulfate shampoos. Sulfate shampoos are just cleansers. The thing that you want to look at is just the pH of that shampoo. So the answer to that, sulfate shampoos in itself, no, they do not cause split ends. Relaxers don't cause split ends. Relaxers don't cause your hair to split faster. Actually, you can split. A little study I did, your hair can split faster by having natural hair because of all the detangling. So let's get into that a little bit more. So relaxers is not, I always tell my clients, patients, my viewers, my customers, listen, relaxer is not our enemy. You can choose to relax your hair, and I think that that's what you want to do, or you can choose to rock it natural like I do and others, many others, and that's great. But whether you relax your hair or you wear your hair natural, it does not matter. You still have to care for your hair. It's all about protecting and preserving the hair, and we're going to talk about that more as we move into our show today, talking about split ends. Phone lines are open at 901-535-9342. That's 901-535-9342. Okay, you said hello. What is the cause of incomplete split end? Cause of incomplete split end. I'm not sure what you're asking me. I'm not sure what you're asking me. Let's see if we can, let me think about that a minute. I'm not sure. Okay, it says the next question is, what if the strands are split higher up the strand and not just at the ends? Oh, this is great, because what you are doing, you're observing your hair very closely, which is really, really important. You need to observe your strand, because if you are observing your strand, you will notice that you may have developed something called chronic split ends or split end syndrome. It's like where you're not just split on the end, the body of your shaft is split. So you have the very end that's split, then you look down the shaft and there's another tear developing that's split, and then you look down the shaft maybe another half an inch and there's another tear. And I have found with some of my patients that we find this almost down to the very close to the scalp. So what happens, they have something called develop something called short hair syndrome. So they've totally lost their ability to obtain their potential length and fullness. So yeah, that's a big deal. So that means that you will still have to condition that hair and treat that hair. And we're going to talk about that. I'm in the Get the Length program. Yay! I want to join the program. Yes, Karen, you are fine. You are already in. Okay, we're just going to do it cyber, which means that I'm going to have some special talk sessions. I don't know how many I'm going to do a week. I mean, this is serious business, because I seriously believe, based on the thousands and thousands of women that I have treated and I have analyzed their strands and scalp this year, I really believe that you guys need me to hold your hand. I mean, remember when you were growing up and your mom grabbed your hand and said, let's cross the street? I think you guys need that. I really do. And I'm going to really help you with that. Things like you said right now, you're saying, is protective styling a good way to care for split ends? Well, no. Protective styles, that's a good way to cover up your hair, whether it's a split end or whether it's whatever it is a good way to cover. Hence the name protective, because you, like a braid, if you take and put synthetic or natural hair or human hair on your hair and braid it, then you're covering it up so your hair is not out there exposed. Weave the same way. If you do a sew-in, your hair is not exposed, so it's covered up. So it's called protective styling. But here's the deal. You cannot cover your hair with braids or weave or scarves or hats or whatever if you're not caring for the hair underneath. So if you're going to wear a quote unquote protective style, then you're going to need to have a program that is going to allow you to care for your scalp and your strands while you're underneath the weave or under the braid. So while protective styles can be a good way to cover your hair and even protect your hair, it's more of a low maintenance, not zero maintenance. It's more of a low maintenance on styling, nothing to do with low maintenance on care. Your care program for your scalp and hair will still be the same, maybe even greater. So a protective style does not care for split ends, it just covers them up. So let's get into this, because you guys got some great questions already, and my voice is a little rough today. Okay, trichotillomatosis, that's it, or tricho, that is known as split ends. That's just what it's called. It's a scientific term for split ends. It's just a fraying of the ends, the hair shaft. It can come from many things. We can talk about what causes split ends. Can split ends be prevented? Can split ends be fixed? I'm just looking at some of the questions that people have asked me. Is naturally curly or kinky hair more prone to split ends? We kind of touched on that a little bit earlier. Well, okay, let's talk about split ends and how this happens. You guys are throwing those questions out there. Great. Hi, Mary. Let's see. Why do kinky hair breaks and don't get longer? See, that's why we're doing this Cyber Get the Length program, because the kinky hair is going to break, and straight hair is going to break based on what that hair strand can tolerate. Now, to answer your question and not spin around your question, what you have here is a very spiral fiber. And when that spiral fiber is just S-shaping away from your scalp and spiraling away from your scalp, then you've got to manage that spiral. You've got to keep that strand hydrated and lubricated so that you don't play tug of war with it. So let's get back to what causes split ends. Your hair strand is just dead keratinized cells, just dead protein cells filled with keratin. The only time that strand is alive in its developmental stage, it's cells that are proliferating, but then they're differentiating and getting filled with keratin as they start to dry up and emerge from the follicle and form into a hair. Yay. Well, what happens with that hair? It has to be protected and preserved. And how do you do that? You protect and preserve your hair by taking care of the delicate protein and moisture levels within the shaft. Now, you must have strong hair and hydrated hair. If you just have strong hair, what's going to happen? You're going to end up with hair that is going to be dry. If you just have hydrated hair, you're going to have hair fly away and frizzy. So you've got to have strong, hydrated hair. So you've got to use conditioners with proteins and moistures. Okay? That's one piece. You've also got to clean your hair and clean it thoroughly. You don't want to clean it and strip it. You want to clean it and clean it thoroughly. But you don't want to put a film on top of it to cover it up. So you want to make sure that you are cleaning with a clarifier. And ladies out there, men as well, you've got to keep in mind, clarifying does not mean that you're going to strip your hair. Stripping removes natural and unnatural. Clarifying removes only unnatural. Stay with the pH of the hair and scalp. Look at the pH on the bottle. It should say a little number with the point in the middle. It may say 4.5, or it may say 5. It may say 5.5. That's what you want to look for, because the hair has a pH of 4.5 to 5.5. Now that pH comes from a secretion that's on our scalp, that it comes from our scalp, from our sweat glands and our oil glands, our sebaceous glands. When that secretion comes up, it lubricates the hair and gives it a pH. It has to be a liquid to get that pH, and that's where you get your pH from. Now, you have to use cleansers more so than your styling products. Your styling products can dry out your hair, but what you clean with is what's going to get your hair ready for whatever else you do to it. So it's crucial that you clean with a clarifier. Clarify means to put at a pure natural state. And we're going to get to the split ends, but this is the build up to it, because that's the problem. We're trying to treat a problem. It's like we have a door here, and on the other side of the door is where we want to get to. But we have this big door in front of us, but we're trying to put our finger, fist, hand through this door. We can't. This is a metal door here. So you're going to hurt something. You're going to tear up something. Well, that's what these filler products, these added conditioners to shampoos are like. They're like a door between your hair and what you're trying to really put on your hair. So if you don't clean your hair and your scalp, then you don't have a foundation. Make sense? Absolutely it does. So you have to get your foundation ready so that you can, in fact, put your conditioner, build it up. There's a negative buildup and a positive buildup. In order to prevent split ends, you have to have a positive buildup. You have to use clean products. You have to cleanse your hair properly with the cleanser and that is a pH of 4.5 to 5.5. You have to look at that. And then you have to be ready to build it up positively. How do you do that? The next thing, you would have to deep condition it. Now, how do you avoid and how do you prevent split ends? You put your products, your conditioners, your protein, and your moisture, and you want to find it in one conditioner. If you need some help, you can go to my website. I have an excellent conditioner. Absolutely love it. Gives you body. Okay. You have an excellent conditioner, and that you want to put it on the ends first, because we're talking about split ends. Split ends, by the way, that's the oldest part of your hair. This is the part of the hair that's been on the head the longest. So split ends are going to be on the ends. We all will have them at some point. But when we do this, are we pulling our hair off or are we keeping our hair? Okay. Now, the phone lines are open at 901-535-9342, 901-535-9342. If you're just tuning in, I'm Lisa Ackberry, your hair doctor, and we're talking about split ends. So I'm doing a little twisty boo there. But anyways, so you start with finger and thumb, and you put your conditioner on like this. You can take a whole section. Like you can take a section over the ear, and you just put your conditioner on, and you slide it on your ends. Most people put their product on like this, and then they do this. Now, when you do that, look what's hanging out. And you hit right over it. See, when I go over it, I'm right over the top of that. So what you have to do is you have to take it and work those ends. And then the longer your hair is, you have to do things like smoothing. And I'm sorry, I'm bopping the microphone, guys. Smoothing those ends, smoothing. And that's what you can see. You just see a ribbon smooth. And what you're doing is you're getting the ends to get the most conditioning, because the ends are porous. They have the most wear and tear on than the other hair. They have been on the head longer. So they're going to have a different porosity, which means their ability to retain moisture and the protein is going to be limited. And you want to help that. So that's why you definitely, and then you work in it, you can open up, and then you're ready to put your conditioner on your hair close to the scalp. And again, you guys see I have the head set on. And then you're ready to put it on throughout. So you're getting all that hair, and I'm just going to go on in there, and you're going to work it in your hair, and you're going to be ready to pull all that hair to the crown of the head. Okay. So you need protein and you need moisture. Then you have to look at what's causing these split ends. What's causing the split ends is that your hair is being overexposed. We overexpose it to heat. Heat, we can tolerate heat depending on the texture of the hair. The heat, good evening, a lady of Viler. Girl, I can barely say that. But anyways, good evening to you. But anyways, if you're just joining, thank you so much, guys, for joining. We're talking about split ends, and I really get all excited when I start talking about split ends because it's just such an easy thing to fix. And sometimes when I'm not reaching you guys, I'm like, but I'm reaching today. Everybody's getting it. Okay. All right, so back to what we're saying. So what's caused overexposure? If you're going to have heat and use heat, some people use heat. Heat, you have to look at the texture of your hair. Your hair is coarse, then you can take 400, maybe a little higher in temperature. If your hair is medium, you need to stay about 350 degrees on the temperature. If your hair is fine, you're going to have to do 150. You cannot use what a coarse hair does. So it burns and it splits and it tears the ends. Because when you have a burn on your end, microscopically viewed, it's like something is carved into your strand, and then that eventually lifts up. So that's why how you get the splits in the body of the shaft, not just on the ends. Okay. Then you have to look at detangling. Huge for natural hair. That's what someone asked earlier. Why does kinky hair break and won't get longer? I'm just paraphrasing her words. Because we detangle so much. And that's why so many people who wear protective styles tend to have hair that obtains length because they're not detangling. Well, you got to have a quality to that hair. And we're going to get to that in just a second. Well, when you detangle, you are pulling and tugging and you're creating microscopic tears on the strand, the hair shaft. So when those microscopic tears are there, then you're creating poor elasticity because your strand is solid and it's multiple layers. Then if a tear gets in the layer, it's just like with a rope. If a tear gets in there, it's going to eventually pop because you're losing that ability for it to stretch or hold itself together. Once you've lost enough of those strand layers, then you do lose that ability of the strand to hold itself together, and then there's a problem. So that's when we get those tears. When you comb your hair and you detangle, so many people say, okay, I'm going to comb from the ends and work my way up. And by the way, I have a large tooth comb. Well, that's not going to get it. You have to first, you don't detangle with a comb. You detangle with product. You have to have a product that you can put on your hair that when it gets the hair, it starts to literally melt the tangle. The tangle is like, and there's something y'all call fairy knots. It's a stress point. It's where the hair has balled up into little balls. When those hairs do that, that means you've got hair that was on the right and left side of the part locking together. You got hair that was supposed to naturally shed locking there. So you have to put a product, and I have one called Hydrating Detangling Souffle, and I've sent it last week to you guys, and I'll post it again. But that, put it in the middle of that tangle. Take your forefinger and thumb and squeeze into that tangle, and then slide through. Then get your human comb and slide straight through. And that way you don't have a tangle. You're not playing tug of war. You're not creating a tear. Is there ever a time when locking the hair would be the best choice? You know what? Styles. Oh my, I just lost a caller. Sorry, caller. I was looking over on my chat room. So you can call back. My number 901-535-9342. Locking is a style option. This is what we want to make sure we don't get into, guys. When we start talking about added hair, we start talking about locking, braids, natural hair, relaxed hair. We don't want to get into this thing where we're telling people how to wear their hair. We want to let you be free to wear your hair the way you want to wear your hair. Now, locking is an option, a wonderful style option. And that's what you should do if you desire. Locking is not the style option that you need if you are not desiring that look. It is a style, period. It's a style. It's an expression. It's what you want for now. Some people like to lock or braid their hair. I like the old school fro. I like a free, able to take my fingers through and go through. And if I want to, I like to be able to work with my own hair. So it depends on that individual. I like the way it looks. If I want to pull it back and fan it up and make it all big and fluffy, I like to be able to wear a free fro. If I want to bring it back and make a fro hawk, I want to be able to do that. So let's just look at it that way. Look at locks as a style option. Okay, so we know detangling is something that, this is what I say about detangling. And I talked about detangling last week, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. But if you don't create a tangle, you don't have to remove one. If you don't have to remove a tangle, then you will have less chances of creating split ends. Okay? So keep that in mind. All right, now, so this is the cause. Overexposure, overcombing, overbrushing. Keep in mind, brushing is something you should never do to natural hair. Yes, that's true. You should never brush natural hair because natural kinky hair is going to tear with brushing. It's spiral. It's not to be brushed unless it's slightly kinky. If you're wanting to smooth your hair back in place, you need to use a comb on the side and rake through and moisturizers, laying it flat. That, and then tie it down with a silk scarf. If you brush your hair, you're going to pull and tug. You guys remember growing up when we had those little brushes? Everybody had one. It was a bristle brush, just the nylon bristles or synthetic bristles or whatever we called them. We had one. It was always in that top drawer. It was always full of hair. Always full of hair. I mean, do y'all remember that? I mean, am I the only one that had a brush in my top drawer and was full of hair? I know I'm not. And we even had days. This is every Saturday, clean your brush day. What's up with that? That should have been a flag in itself. Well, brushing is one of the #1 causes of split ends, because when you take a brush and brush it on a hair strand of kinky hair especially, but on any hair, if it's a bristle brush, you are going to, it's like taking a pen and going down a piece of paper. You're going to dot, 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 dot. You're going to tear, and you'll leave a little space, you tear. So then again, you've lost elasticity. You must have elasticity in your hair. You lost elasticity, so you've lost the ability to obtain, hold that hair together. You've lost the ability for that hair to stretch without breaking. Then you've lost porosity. So your porosity levels are not equal. So your cuticle is no longer compact over your cortical fibers. It's now sitting up with tears in it. So you can't retain moisture. So all of that's just bad. So if you're brushing your hair, you're going to always see those little bitty short hairs sitting on the hairline or on the front. It's all over our kids' hair. You know, we see it all the time. We just think it's okay, but it's not okay. All right. Okay. And then we have this whole little, when the other thing that we have is, let's see, let me stay on point because I can go on and on. We talked about the two ways can split ends be fixed. There are two things we look at when we think about split ends. Okay. You have two options. You can either trim them away, or you can actually treat them. Here, remember what I said, it's just dead keratinized cells. So you can trim your ends or you can treat your ends. If you trim your ends, then you don't treat those ends. If you treat your ends, you don't trim those ends. If you don't treat them, you must trim them. If you don't trim them, you must treat them. You've heard your stylist say to you, I need to trim your ends every 6 to 8 weeks, because if I don't trim your ends, then the healthy hair, this damaged hair, is going to split back into the healthy hair. True that. Well, it only does it if you don't treat them. Now, how do you treat them? Again, here is just dead keratinized cells. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to put the ends, you're going to put your conditioner on your ends, and you're going to try to keep that cuticle laying flat. Cuticle layers are the top protective sentinels. That's what I call them. They're layers overlapping like shingles on a house. You've all heard that. But they basically cover, and they have to be protected. And you want them to lay flat. Flat shingles. You want them to lay flat. And when you do that, then you're going to have an opportunity for those ends to just lay flat, hold the hair together. They won't peel back into the healthy hair. They'll just stay put. They'll stay compact and they won't peel back. And that's the goal. The goal is to keep your ends from peeling back into the healthier hair. So if you trim them, some people say my hair grows faster when I trim it. It just does not split anymore. So let's take a look at something about get the length, because this is going to help you to understand what ends. When you say that my hair stops growing or my hair doesn't obtain length as fast, someone said that earlier. They want to know why our natural hair, Mary, she wants to know why our natural hair just won't obtain length. Why can't it get longer? One of the reasons is because our hair is growing. It doesn't stop growing. It's just not getting length, which is the big question on the table. Here we have hair. So just to clear up whether your hair is growing, because I think we still have a few people thinking their hair is not growing. If your hair is not growing, then you're going to begin to see bald spots. So if I part my hair and my hair had stopped growing. Right in here, I'm going to have a circle, a bald spot. I don't know. I might leave that part like that. What do y'all think? It's kind of funky. There we go. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, if you don't, so your hair is growing. The hair grows in cycles. So you have hair that's growing 2-4 years. If it's passed beyond 4, then that's going to be strongly genetically linked. So, because there are some people who will have hair that will grow in their one cycle longer than 2 years or 4 years. The very low average is 2. Most people got growing about 4 years before that hair sheds off. So it grows, it kind of it rests, and then it sheds. It may rest a little bit, and then it starts it all over again. So that's important to understand that the follicle is continuing to function, and this is not, we have over 150,000 follicles on our head. And unless there's some illness or some medication, something that's causing your follicle not to function, that follicle is consistently pushing hair out of this mouth. So you have hair. So you may lose and shed 150, up to 150 strands a day, and you're still not going to notice bald spots. So our hair is growing. Now, what is happening to our hair? Why isn't it longer? I did a video on this, and that's when I decided to do the cyber reading, because someone said to me, they said, you know, your hair looks healthy, but your hair looks, it seems like it's the same length. Now, that was a few weeks ago, and I've really been kind of focusing on no more studies on my hair. But what I told them, I did a video on it, and if you guys, I'm going to try to find that and get a link to you guys. What happened with my hair, I was conducting all kinds of studies on my own hair to prove theories that I had about getting length, theories that I had about things like why our hair won't grow, why it won't grow. I'm going to say quote unquote, because I know my hair was growing. Why we couldn't obtain length. I'm repeating myself. Just how we damage. What causes this damage? So I did a lot of this to my own hair. So what I said in the video was, and I showed all the different years, all the way from 2008 or 7, all the way up to 2015, 16. And it showed how I transitioned with all these different things that I did with my hair. And a part of it was just torturing my hair, just going to bed without dressing it for bed, causing those little fairy nuts, as y'all call it, stress points, just detangling, just combing through it, or even carefully raking through it, all kinds of things. And so what I found is that my hair was just not as healthy. I could make it look good because I have great products, but it wasn't healthy. This is the thing that you have to make sure that we're not masking things. We're not putting a mask on our hair. We are actually taking care of our hair. So we have hair that's healthy. Okay. And that's what I wasn't doing. So that hair, once it gets to a certain length, can't stay, it's going to break. So the hair was growing, but it was breaking. And short hair syndrome is a disorder that I coined behind all of this many, many years ago. It's just a vicious cycle of growth and breakage. The hair grows, but it breaks back off. It grows and it breaks back off. And that's what's happening. So you may grow a 1/2 inch from your scalp, but you're breaking a 1/2 inch on the ends. So you can't quantify. You can't measure the length because it's like coming out as soon as it grows out. And so that's why I'm so excited about this Cyber Get the Length program, because it's just going to help us to understand this. Anything that you do to your hair that is going to stress it out, in other words, overheat, over chemicals, traction from braiding, sew-ins, weave, anything that you do that's going to wear and tear at the cuticle layer, is going to be a problem with your hair breaking off, and it's going to be a problem with your ends splitting. So treat your ends, be good to your ends. You've got to do that. You got to be good to your hair. You've got to love your hair into place. You don't need to tease the hair. You don't need, I do things like you separate. This is called French lacing the hair. is where you just hold in one part of the hair and you just kind of moving it away so you can elongate like on the sides. But you don't just tease the hair because that's really problematic. And you can create these microscopic tears. You guys know I love a frizzy fro, but I don't get my frizzy fro by teasing it. I just don't. So it's really crucial for us to understand that. My phone lines are open. If you're just tuning in, I'm trichologist Lisa Ackberry, and I'm here each and every Sunday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here in the WDIA studios and iHeartRadio. And my phone lines are open at 901-535-9342. That's 901-535-9342. And as usual, the chat room is buzzing, and you guys are beating those folks that are calling in. Its phones have been awfully quiet. They were quiet last week and quiet this week, and the chat room was, I guess it's just easier because on the chat room, you can actually see me and hear me. Well, we're talking about split ends today, and I've got some questions too from some folks. I got some online questions, and then I've got some all these are online. And then I got a little bit of hair news. Yeah, we want to talk about, last week we talked about that class action law. It was a class action lawsuit. We talked about several of them, but there's a lot going on in hair news. So we're going to talk about that as well. Someone says, my name is Robin. What to use when dressing hair for bed? Thank you, Robin, for calling me in on that. Because, dressing for hair for bed, it's a glare on this computer. Dressing for the hair for bed, it means that it will mean that you have to take care of your strands, protect and preserve it as you go to bed. Several ways. Number one, you have to look at what you're sleeping on. You're gonna either overhydrate and sleep on a cotton pillowcase, or you want to have some higher quality fabric, or you want to have a satin pillowcase. So you want to look at that. Stay away from the bonnets. Bonnets cause too much friction on the hairline. Almost, I guess you want to say, majority of women are still wearing bonnets. The patients I treat, I have a basket called the wrong basket. I have bonnets in the wrong basket, stocking caps in the wrong basket. And I have some bristle brushes in the wrong basket. So dressing the hair for bed will mean you have to protect and preserve the hair as you sleep. So one of the ways you do that, if you're going to, even though I wear a frizzy fro, I don't sleep on my hair, because when you sleep on your hair without dressing it for bed, I twist my hair. I do something called my curly fro, and I have that link. You can go to my site, and you know what? I should have all this stuff just lined up. So while I'm talking, I'm going to go to and look for it. Go on the online, and I'm going to get that link for you. So when you're dressing your hair for bed, you have to say, okay, I'm going to wear my hair in a curly fro or frizzy fro. I have to make sure that I am, let's see, I have a hard time multitasking. I have to make sure that I treat my ends. So you're going to put your moisturizer on first, then you're going to put your oil on to seal, and then you're going to twist it. It can be large twist. That's why I want you to look up my curly fro right there on YouTube. Some of you probably already found it. And it's just a simple way, and this is what I do to my hair every day. So that's one thing you can do. You can do a curly fro. The other thing is, if you say, well, I'm going to wear I'm going to wear a style that's already twisted up. It's protective style. Then you have to, let's get this. I might just type this in. Give me a minute, guys. Abbari. Okay, go. All right. Curly froly. So there we go. Okay, so I'm going to turn that on, and then I'm going to get that link off of there and post that link for you guys. And it should be my curly fro complete. I got that. Here it is. Curly fro complete. And then I'm going to put the link there. So the thing that you have to keep in mind when you're doing these types of styles that are already twisted, and they're protective styles, a lot of them, you have to make sure that you are you making sure that your hairline is not pulling, because when you pull your hairline, one of the problems that you're gonna have, y'all see me squinting like crazy. I'm so sorry, guys. I guess you feel like you're looking at me like, wow, she is just blind over there. But I just can't. This screen has just got so much glare. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna put that up for you guys. So one of the key things is to make sure that you are. Here we go. Now, post it. All right. Make sure that you are not causing traction along the hairline. You have to make sure that you're putting, I have a product called, it's a scalp treatment level 1. It's loaded with aloe vera gel. It's wonderful. It's pure. And then I have a product called Hair Vitamin. If you put that scalp treatment level 1 at every point of departure, which is what I call it, every point of departure is the area where you start to braid or twist that's closest to your scalp. You put a little bit right there, 1 drop, blot it in, and then you spray the Hair Vitamin along the hairline. It's going to give you some elasticity on your tissue of your scalp, right around the mouth of the follicle. It's also going to give you some elasticity on your hair, so there's no traction. So you can enjoy your protective styles and without traction. Traction is one of the problems with your hair when you're talking about dressing for bed. So that's one thing. The other thing is, if you're going to tie your hair up, use something that's a very smooth fabric, because, and you've heard all this before, I know, but something that's very smooth fabric that is not going to you're not going to have problems with your hair drying out from cotton, things like that. Okay. All right. So let's look at, this is a question. She said, I have 2 little girls who have unrelaxed, she called it unrelaxed natural kinky hair. Okay. When I straighten their hair, I noticed that they both have a good deal of split ends and uneven hair length. What causes this? How do I prevent it? See, this is what I was talking about. A lot of that is detangling. So you're detangling, you're tearing the hair. So then when you straighten it out and you can see it straight, you can see the unevenness. Because when your hair is curly, you don't notice how uneven it is. So that's going to be really, really important. That's going to be really important. So you've got to make sure that you don't just tug and pull. The reason why the hair is uneven, because you are breaking in some parts of the head and not breaking in others. And when it's curly, you don't notice it. And when you straighten it, you did notice it. So the best thing to do is, while it's curly, is find the dressing for hair for bed. I have a program for little girls of color. It's on my website. And so that's something that I'm going to definitely recommend highly. And we have also videos. So I'm going to send that link for little girls. So if those of you out there with little girls with split ends and you're having some tug of war issues with there, let me go right to that site, that area. And I'm going to post that one because, it's just crucial, guys, because our little girls and little boys even, they're dependent on us. We're just ripping their hair off, and they have chronic split ends. Let's go back to here. Here we go. Chronic split ends. So I'm just going to put that one in there. Oopsie. There we are. That's my link for little girls. And we have videos. I've got tips on how to take care of the hair. So that'll help you out a lot, dear. We have another from the chat. She said, what is a protective style for bed for relaxed hair? Very good question, Mary. Protective style for relaxed hair, you have a couple of options. Number one, several options. Number one, if you're wearing a straight, first you have to have 2 categories of hairstyles if you're wearing relaxed hair. You have to have a category for new growth and a category for freshly relaxed hair. And you have to look at how often you're relaxing your hair. And I can't miss the chance of saying this because I know you asked about protective styles, but I got to tell you, you want to relax your hair every 10 to 12 weeks, and you want to have 2 categories of hairstyles. This is going to help you and prevent you from over-processing your hair and causing more split ends and weak hair. All right, so the protective styles that you will have in those 2 categories. The first one, a fresh relaxer. week 1 through week 5, you're going to make sure that you can do 2 things. You can wrap the hair or you can pin curl the hair. Wrapping, if you're going to wear your hair straight, you wrap it around the head using a flat paddle brush, not a nylon bristle brush. Straight hair, you can use a flat paddle brush. Well, natural hair, you don't even want to use that brush. Natural hair, just don't use a brush at all. Just telling you. All right, so you can wrap it, and then you tie it with a scarf. No bonnet, a satin silk tissue lame, some type of smooth nylon treated to look like silk scarf. Okay. Second, you want to, with your new, you can also pin curl it. Pin curling it, you're taking it, you're wrapping your hair around your finger. I'll just do it on my hair. You're putting your finger here, you're wrapping your hair around your finger, you're sliding it off your finger, you're rolling it down, and you're pin curling it. And that's it. You're putting a little pin curl right there. And then you tie it down with a satin pillowcase. Satin pillowcase. You tie it down with a satin scarf, or you can sleep on a satin pillowcase. The other thing is with the new growth style, that's 5 weeks and beyond, then until you're 10 weeks, you're going to make sure that you're doing curly styles. So you have 2 options. You can plait the hair, about 20 plaits. Take those plaits, roll them down your finger, make a pin curl, then wear them curly. Or you can twist the hair, roll the plaits, twist, and making sure you take your fingers so that there's no traction on the hairline, and wear it in a curly style. So what am I saying here? I'm saying when you have straight hair, a fresh relaxer, then you don't have to worry. You can wear straight styles. But when you have new growth, 5 weeks and beyond, do not try and wear your hair straight, because the hair that's most dominant is the natural hair. It's younger, it's kinkier, it's going to pull and break. This is why when we break with new growth, some people will say, every time I need a perm, my hair breaks. That's because your lack of new growth management. So the best way to dress the hair for bed is through pin curling, rolling, or twisting, even with relaxed hair. You've heard what I said. You can wear rollers. Some people sleep on rollers. 1, do not sleep on hard rollers. It's just bad for your scalp, and it's bad for your hairline. It pulls. So those rollers, you said, but I can do it. Yeah, but it's wrong. And it's eventually going to cause some problems. The other thing is you can use something like a satin roller. I have a roller called Sentinel. It's like a moisture lock fabric. It's really a sponge roller, and it covers. So you have a pillow type, but you got to cover the sponge completely. Remember the old school end papers? We did that for a while. You can use those. But the satin material, you can go to the fabric store, get you some satin material. You're good. You're going to do well. So that's what you do. So we're relaxed here, not a problem. You just have to have new growth management, and you have to make sure, make sure that you're dressing your hair for bed properly. Let's get down to some of this because we're about to run out of time. Some relaxers claim to hydrate hair and prevent split ends. Is that possible? I'm a skeptic. I'm skeptical. You should be. No, that is impossible. Just don't believe all the hype. If it doesn't make sense, it is nonsense. Keep that in mind. That makes no sense. A chemical cannot prevent split ends. There's no such thing. And I think we believe that stuff because we use chemical as a weapon to control our hair. Well, no, you can't do that. It's not going to prevent anything, any split ends. I said, I notice my hair breaks more in the winter, but spring, my hair, let's see. I notice my hair breaks more in the winter, but spring, my hair seems dry. Hair seems dry. Or by spring, my hair seems dry. You didn't, this question it's not right. But I'm going to try to understand what she was trying to say. And I have more split ends than normal. As the days turn colder, I'm concerned about what's happening this winter too. What's happening? How can I prevent this? Again, it's just like putting on a sweater in the winter. You have to cover up because it's cold. When you're in the winter months, it's something called hair and scalp dehydration. When your hair and scalp dehydrates, what is basically happening? The air is drawing moisture. So if you're in a dry climate, whether you're in the desert or whether you're in the coldness, what your hair is doing is the moisture is being drawn from your ends and from the entire hair shaft. So in the summer, you get these little particles, these moisture, humidity. So it's not as dry. So you don't have as many problems with split. But in the summer, your hair can frizz. So if you're not careful and you start detangling and combing through frizz hair, you can still split. But this is the reason, and the way to prevent that is to hydrate, hydrate, and hydrate your face as well as your hair. You have to make sure that every morning and every night you hydrate your ends, no matter what, especially in the winter. And you use I have a product called Hydration that is excellent for that. And that's what I would highly recommend. Hydration is going to be a product that's going to raise your moisture level up higher. In the summer months, a lot of patients don't really need hydration. They need moisturizers, which is just it retains the moisture level. So you can go on my site and read about all that. Okay, let's look at some hair news. It said a large settlement reached in Wynn Hair Products class action lawsuit. You heard of the Wynn Hair Products? That was they got a large settlement, the folks who bought that. Yeah, it's just one of those things, where you believe you can shampoo without shampoo. And I'm not going to talk about it because I don't like bashing other companies. I feel bad for them, and I'm not going to talk about their company. Somebody could try to do something with me. I just try to walk with integrity, and I try to make the best product ever and pray about it, just so that I can. And that's why I'm out here doing this. I'm a trichologist. I never thought I would make product initially, to be honest with you. I never thought I would write books. I did, but I thought I would be a lot older. I just never thought it. And now I'm doing all of that because it's a need. It's a need. And I think that the people who are in the industry that are doing all these things and have this knowledge, we're the ones that's supposed to make product and write books, right? That's where you get the right information. Okay. So here's another one. Last year, a group of 200 women in 40 states filed a class action lawsuit alleging the cleansing conditioners from the Wynn product cause scary side effects, from scalp irritations to hair loss. And see, there's more of this same thing. Someone sent this information to me. Yeah, because you just can't. It's an accident waiting to happen. You have to clean your hair. You cannot clean your hair. If you don't clean your hair, you're not going to be able to condition your hair. Just forget it. And a lot of these conditioning, hydrating products cause splittings because they cause the hair to eventually have this negative buildup. They're not clean, and you don't get conditioners in, and the hair just becomes weak, dry. It's just awful. Okay, so if approved by a United States district judge, customers will have adverse reactions. Who had adverse reactions could receive $20,000. Wow. Next week's topic, we're going to talk about Black Woman's Guide to Beautiful Hair, and we've got some new topics. Next week, it's going to be a surprise. It's going to be a surprise. I'm excited about next week's show because we're coming into the holidays. We're going to be talking about holiday hair. I got a colorful scrunchie here, guys. And I have this as well. It's my little headband. But we had a great show, guys. It's almost time to check out. Are you going to relax your hair? I know. I talked about that. I talked about doing the big relax because I wanted to show you guys how to transition. Now, Mary, are you going to get me into that? I was trying to make a decision on whether I was going to relax my hair and do the big relax so that I could transition slowly with you guys, or I was going to do the Cyber Get the Length. Well, the Cyber Get the Length kind of won because I said the biggest challenge we have in trying to get long hair is when your hair is natural. So I couldn't do both of them because my hair would be straight and it may be kind of cheating. So it would be easier to get length with straight hair because you don't have to go through all the detangling. I want to show folks that you can get long natural hair without having to do protective styles. You can wear your fro every day and not having to relax it. So Mary, I'm probably going to do that in 2018. Okay, not 2017. Unless you guys just say, no, no, no. You guys just give me a count of folks who want me to relax my hair and show you how to transition. Because that's really what we're talking about, right, Mary? How, how to transition. Okay, guys, this has been a great show. I'm here each and every Sunday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. right here in the WDIE studios and iHeartRadio. You know, you can just download that iHeart app and get the WDIE studios anywhere in the world. So that's pretty cool. So that's why I'm really excited to be in this lineup and a part of this team on Sundays. I'm your hair Dr. Lisa Ackberry. If you want to contact me, and if you're local and you want to come into one of my salons, or you want to come into my school, yay, if you're trying to get into the hair care industry, call my number at 901-380-4445, or you can email me, lisa@lisaackberry.com. We always got a lot of fun, cool stuff going on my website at lisaackberry.com, and that's LISAAKBARI.com. Oh my goodness. Well, Mark. Oh my goodness. Okay, Mark. Did he cut it? Am I off the air? Okay, I'm still on the air. I'm still here, guys, but okay, it's time to cut off anyway. But you know, Mark's folks are just so into him. Mark is next show. So I guess y'all heard Mark Stanberry. He just kind of cut in his voice. But that's okay because I love Mark. He's a pretty cool guy and he keeps me in line every week. All right, so we're going to wrap it up. I'm trichologist Lisa Ackberry, your hair doctor. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you next week right here on Ask the Hair Doctor. Okay, guys. Wow. Mark said he apologized, everyone in the side. I don't even know if my cyber family could hear it, but it's like the station just kind of came right on in. Okay, guys. I'm going to see you guys next week. And I know some of you have been asking about my cyber readings, and I just have not gotten that into the schedule again. And so, okay. So I'm going to see you guys in a minute. Talk to you guys later. Love you. Bye-bye.